My name is Alex Schaefer, and I'm making this video to talk about being gay and Mormon. In another video, I talked about coming out to my parents and where I was at with the Mormon church when I was 17. I had been going to therapy for a few months, and I decided that rather than have my bishop continue to pay, I would tell my parents. I'd also talked to some teachers at school, and they encouraged me to tell them. It went a lot worse than I thought. It was very difficult. I sat down with them in my room. They actually saw me on the internet reading about homosexuality, and they figured to put two and two together, and they were very concerned. And my dad, after we talked, sat me down, gave me a book about how I could not be gay. He also told me that there was an organization for gay Mormons called Evergreen International, and I began to look at their website, look at their materials. Meanwhile, my mom and I talked and fought, and eventually, even though we lived in the same house, wrote letters to each other. In the course of these letters and notes that we later would talk about, she told me that I'd die of AIDS, that I would be joining a hedonistic lifestyle, I'd incur the wrath of God, I'd break her heart into a million pieces, that I wouldn't have grandchildren for her, I wouldn't have children, and I wouldn't have joy in life, basically, because I would be joining a gay lifestyle. She also let me know of other gay people she knew who had died of AIDS and lived tragic lives. So, needless to say, I was not very happy about their reaction, and I was not feeling very good about the fact that I was gay. Meanwhile, I'd been going to therapy, trying to understand who I was, understand what it meant that I was attracted to my same gender when I was supposed to be attracted to the opposite gender, and what was wrong with me. And then my parents and this book I read by Nicolosi reinforced that view that I was somehow defective or broken. And add to that, I'd been in California during Proposition 22, and I'd been to priesthood meetings where they called for money to donate to this cause, which I thought was weird because churches aren't supposed to donate to politics, I thought. And also they organized the Boy Scouts to go door to door and to knock on people's door to protect the family, and I was part of those Boy Scouts that did that. And surprise, surprise, I discovered I was gay slowly after that with so coming back to the present, or not the present, but where we were. My parents reacted poorly to the news that I was gay, and I wanted to not be gay anymore. So I read about Evergreen. I told a friend who I hadn't seen in a couple months, he was my best friend but had been away at college, that I was gay, that I thought I'd been molested, and that's probably why I was gay. I wanted a family someday, and we sat down and we talked all night and we prayed, and I came away from that deciding to be Mormon still, because I'd kind of questioned like what I wanted to do. And so after that, I met with his therapist, not his therapist, his stake president, who's a therapist, and we went a little Freudian and talked about the different dynamics in the family that had probably caused my same-sex attraction. I didn't know that much about psychology at this point. I was only fresh out of high school. And then, later that year, in September 11th, actually, 2001, or right around that time, my father took me to the Evergreen International Conference in Utah, and I heard A. Dean Bird talk about why homosexuality shouldn't have been taken out of the Psychological Diagnostic Manual, the DSM-4, as a mental illness, because it was a mental illness and could be cured, and I could diminish my feelings of unwanted same-sex attraction. I also heard testimonials from gay people who had sex in bathrooms and had been cruising and had been excommunicated, and had ruined their families. And the message I got was, it's really not okay to be gay. You do not want to live this lifestyle. It's horrible. And I believed them, or at least it really kind of affected me. So I figured, hey, if they can control being gay or change it, they're like, well, be realistic. Your feelings won't ever go away, but you can diminish them, and you can increase your opposite sex attraction. So I kind of came away from that, especially with everything else going on, wanting to be married, wanting to have a family and everything someday. So shortly thereafter, I went to BYU, Idaho, and while I was there, I took a class on the proclamation. I told some of my friends I was gay. I prepared for a mission. All in all, I kind of put away my rebellious stage, as I looked at it, to become a full-fledged Mormon and about as straight as I could be, or not as straight as I could be, but as not gay as I could be, I guess you'd say. I could control my same-sex attraction. That's what I've been told. I got books from Evergreen on how to do it. I read everything I could from them on how other gay Mormons were still part of the kingdom of God and how they were still able to maintain their Mormonness.